Hello. Sorry, I don't know where the camera is. I can't tell which way to look.
Now they can tell.
There you are.
There's that camera.
Hi, Amy.
This is Maddie.
Hello. Hi, Maddie. Nice to meet you. You too.
Hear us? I think so, because we shouldn't be late.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you very well.
Yes.
When,
So that one? Okay.
is that the...
Our
that's
way.
supposed to be-
I think there's 9 or 10 or 11 somewhere in there.
9, 10, 11.
Somewhere in there. Yeah, I can't remember
We should check.
for this one.
Because we're going to have to check all of it.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that right? There's like 11.
Yeah. Chester, Quill Lake, Spearfish, Escalon.
Yep.
I can say that right. Pullman, Mitchell, Montrose, Mule, SS, Archive,
Oh, yep, they're recording.
SDSU, Extension. I don't know there's an extension where.
That's, yeah. Yep.
Newbridge. That's where I'm from.
I'm from Isabel.
Where?
Isabel.
Oh. Up there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sparky's. Only place in town.
Great. It's a great place to go. Mm-hmm. How do we tell how many are on?
Oh, they have to all sign in. They all have to count, should say where they're from and all that.
So can Andy
They
see
show
all
up there in the little...
No, they'll show up on the main screen.
Oh,
but it
as they
takes,
say.
the video portion takes 10 seconds of audio to gate it, meaning to push it over to the next site, since there's so many sites.
Mm.
So whoever's the main speaker, like we're on right now, but if somebody gets on another side and starts talking for 10 seconds, their image will appear.
Okay.
So
So they can still hear us
yeah,
now.
they can hear us right now.
So we could do, is it mute on? Andy,
I got it, you're on.
Yeah.
when did you want to start, or should we do a roll call first? Do you want me
Yeah,
to
yeah,
introduce
that's
you,
fine.
or do you want Janet to tell about it first, or?
Yeah, Jenna wants to talk first, that's fine. Sure.
Okay, I'll just introduce you guys and then we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Welcome to Envirothon's first DDN of the year, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. Can you give me a roll call as to who might be on the DDN today? It's just us.
We have the winter team here. I'm Wyatt DeYoung, I'm the ag teacher. Laura Kaler, the extension agent, she'll be coming here shortly. Then I've got two of my kids that'll be competing. The other ones couldn't make it today, but
Fantastic. Welcome, winner.
thank you.
Awesome. Anybody else on? Winner, you guys might be the only winners today of the try. I'm not sure what the prize is, though, so I'll have to work on that. I'll talk to you at Envirothon. Well, my name is Kim Smink, and I'm the coordinator for Envirothon this year. And as you know, we're setting things up a little differently, but we're going to be doing a series of 4 DDNs. And today is the first one. And Andy and Maddie are going to cover soil and land use, and they're also going to talk a little bit about the current issue. So, but before we get started, for the teachers, there's an opportunity for you to earn a graduate credit through Black Hills State University. So I'm going to let Janet, who's here with me, talk a little about that, and then we'll turn it over to Andy and Maddie.
Hi there. I'm Janet Briggs from Black Hills State University, and Kim and I have worked out graduate credit for this, for your work in this project. And it will be 1 hour graduate credit at the cost of $40. I haven't gotten all the paperwork completed for this, so I'm just telling everyone it will be available. And I suggest for now you just keep notes of what you're doing, notes of the sessions and things. I will have you write a short paper at the end reflecting on what you've learned and how your students are using that information. But it won't be a huge project. It's because it's just 1 hour of graduate credit. So as we learn more, as I get the paperwork finished, I can email that to people. I can send the syllabus and things. So maybe Kim and I can just send out an email with further details as it develops. Okay.
Did you say, are you Wyatt? Is that right? From Winter?
Oh.
Yes,
I like the close up.
I'm Wyatt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. Nice to meet you, Wyatt. I missed your name earlier. Sorry. So I wanted to make sure I had the right person.
You betcha.
That's great. Do you have any questions, Wyatt, or?
No, I don't think so. Laura and I kind of talked about it too, like what was sent earlier, so it makes sense.
Okay.
So I think we should be good.
Great. Well then, I think we can turn it over to Andy, and I'll let him, Andy and Maddie, if you want to get started. Thanks for stopping in today.
Yep, okay, so can you guys hear us okay?
Yes, we can hear you great,
Yes.
Maddie.
And you can see the PowerPoint?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, I do have one quick question. Will we get a copy of the PowerPoint, or could we get a copy of the PowerPoint too afterwards?
Yeah, they should all be, I don't know, Kim, is all that stuff available on the website? Or
There's a connection, there should be a connection to it, but I can make sure that it's there, Andy, or I'll send it out to everyone.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay?
Yep. Okay, so first thing we're going to cover is soil horizons. It's going to be important for you to be able to distinguish between the different horizons and know what the designations are. So the big letters and the little letters, the suffixes, etc. So we'll get started on that. A horizon is a layer of soil or soil material parallel to the surface of land. So basically the horizontal layers of soil. And those together make up a profile. So the sequence of horizons stacked together is a soil profile. And a series is the name given to the profile that has unique characteristics and properties. So starting with the A horizon, that's going to be the topmost horizon in most cases in South Dakota. It is the accumulation of organic matter, clumping of individual soil particles, and it's distinct from parent material and other layers. So this is going to be your dark, rich, and fertile topsoil. Next, beneath that will be the B horizon and the C horizons. This is where transformations and translocations take place, where you're going to see salts and carbonates and clay films cracking and wetting. And this is a material that weathers from the parent material. So to break that down further, we have great sound effects to go with it. You can see again the O horizon is on top. That's the layer of organic matter on the surface of a mineral soil. So that's not very common in South Dakota. Next is the A horizon, that's the topsoil. This is the mineral soil horizon on the surface with organic matter and usually low clay. The E horizon would be between these two. This is the horizon with maximum leaching. So it's usually lighter in color. It's not in all soils. It's located just below the A, and it's usually light gray or white. Subsoil is the B horizon. This is most often located just below the A, and that's where it commonly is in South Dakota. The zone of maximum clay accumulation and salt accumulation. And then the C horizon, this is what has weathered from rock, is weathered rock. It's below the B, has not been acted upon by the soil forming processes. So usually it doesn't have structure and very dark color, unless the parent material is dark. And R is the hard consolidated rock beneath the soil. Okay, so this basically breaks it down again. Your O would be your forest floor. It's litter. It's really O's organic matter, so that's your really organic topsoil. And the A horizon. The solemn is what you'll want to be able to identify. That's basically everything above the parent material here. So the B horizon and above. Go into that. This is a kind of an intimidating list of horizon suffixes. These are the what go with those master horizons that we just covered. You will want to be able to know these, and I'm going to highlight for you dedicated winter folks some of the more important ones to know for the Envirothon. I'll go through them all, but I'll put some emphasis on those that are important. So A is a highly decomposed organic material. You're going to see that with an O horizon, and we just said we don't have that very often. B means it's buried. So you can sometimes have an A horizon that's under B horizons if it's been dug up and buried, or had like in alluvial situations or by rivers, you just get layer upon layer deposited, so things get buried quickly. E is another organic material suffix. G is for strong glain, in which iron has been reduced and removed. I, slightly decomposed organic material again. K is the accumulation of carbonates. This one is one that we see quite often here in our area at least, and those will be the white carbonates. It's like chalk, really. Calcium carbonate looks like chalk, and the soil is chalk. And it should effervesce under acid. Okay, so as soil scientists in the field, we identify K with by squirting hydrochloric acid on that white chalky substance and seeing if it fizzes. If it fizzes, then we then put the K suffix with that master horizon. N is the accumulation of sodium. P would be plowing or other disturbance of the surface layer. So this is a very common one that we use here. That is attached with the A horizon. So that because you would be plowing your topsoil and A is your topsoil. So it's often common that we see an AP horizon. Okay, so plowing or other disturbance is P. R is a weathered or soft bedrock. So we put an R with a C horizon, because C is is the horizon closest to an R horizon, so it's closest to the rock. So when it's weathering rock and it's still rock-like, it has it's really soft bedrock, then we have a CR horizon. SS is the presence of slicken sides. Those are in high clay soils. You have an angled surface, kind of groove. Yes, there you go. That's a good word. A shiny groove at a certain angle is a slicken side. Another important suffix is T. That's the accumulation of clay, specifically silicate clay that has been translocated or moved by alluviation. So it's not clay that was already there because of the parent material. It's been moved throughout the profile. W just means the development of color or structure in horizon. So this is kind of your most basic suffix that goes with a B master horizon. Y is an indicator of gypsum. Gypsum is just another salt. And if we are testing it with acid, so sometimes if we aren't sure if it's gypsum or calcium carbonate, we put the acid on it. If it doesn't fizz, then it could be gypsum. Or it could be Z, another salt. It's just a salt more soluble than gypsum is what Z is. Any questions on that? I know it's kind of a lot. That's just something you have to study. All right, Hudak is our state soil. Important to know. Let's see. Okay, so this is it's gonna be important for you to be able to identify horizons for the Envirothon. So you'll have to be able to pick them out, and we're gonna have some soil there for you to do that on real soil, hopefully. So by looking at this picture of Hudak, you'll see we've got the A horizon is cut out from, you see the dark material is here, but this top part where the A is just a bit darker than what's beneath it. Okay, and the BT comes next. We identify that BT because it's going to have structure and also it's going to have an increase in clay. So that T was because of the clay. So you should see clay films, and it should be a lot heavier in clay than the A horizon. And color helped us distinguish the border between the BT and the BK. And also you can see in this BK horizon these white chalky flecks. Okay, so that's what helps make the color much lighter, and you should see the actual white nodules there. And then C is beneath it. So again, you can see kind of where the carbonates stop, then the C starts, and you're starting to lose structure. So it should just be like massive kind of blob, and you won't be able to pick out good structure. Yeah. Wyatt, what do you think? You want your kids to kind of have a guess of where these borders are, or what's this horizon would be called?
Yeah, let's make them do as much as we can make them do. So if you guys want to also get up there and take a look, I'll keep it unmuted so you can.
Do we wind up there and take a look?
Yeah, so you two go ahead and get on up there so you can try to take a look.
So what do you call those horizons?
What's that again? A.
What do you think that top one is?
Top one's definitely, but then
Okay.
A.
And then what subscript? Think it's been plowed or not?
I think those are in feet. If they want to.
Yeah, and the numbers should be in feet too, like how the depths.
Oh,
What they are in that
How
feet
deep?
there.
So that's 3 feet.
But okay, so what's your first horizon? Or your first horizon is how far? Is it a full foot? Is it like half foot?
Like a half.
Okay, and what are you guys calling that one?
A.
So A up to a half foot? Should you say that loud?
A up to a half foot.
Yep. And that would be kind of tricky to tell if it was an AP or not, I believe.
They talk about E horizon.
Sometimes the plow layer is usually around 6 inches, some areas, so. But A in this case. But the E.
I think B. A.
they're debating.
E.
Right now, we're debating. We're still making a decision. They're debating between a B or an E horizon, but they're not sure on the subscript yet. Your E horizon would be much thinner than that, wouldn't it? Though, if it was there.
Well, often yes, but I think in this case they're right in thinking E just
Okay.
because it's so much lighter.
Nice.
And if it were light and it like kind of stayed light, then you wouldn't. It's kind of the Oreo effect. You know, you see it's dark again. That's a good indicator. E.
And Maddie, does E ever have a subscript or not?
No.
Yes.
Not. I don't think so.
Okay. So
Sometimes there's a transitional horizon, so like it could be an EB, which means it's
Okay.
an E turning into a B, but
gotcha.
we're not going to do that to you guys. Thank you. All right.
Thanks. So then, what's the next one then, guys?
So what?
Up to like the 3.
All the way from here to B.
So B to 3 foot?
It doesn't look like that.
Okay, and what would you think? B is a horizon that always has a suffix. I forgot to mention it. So it's always going to have something with it.
Go ahead and take it.
Yeah.
They're looking.
So I guess you should be looking to see if there's white spots. That would be, you know, your salts or your carbonates. If you don't really see that, then does it look kind of shiny?
That would be.
You guys think it looks shiny?
What does gypsum look like?
We do like white
Whitish.
flecks
Yeah.
that don't fizz under this acid.
So they're kind of quiet, but they're saying they don't see really any spots. Do you guys think it's shiny in appearance?
That could be clay.
It looks clay.
They're thinking clay
That's right.
type.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep. So if you see that shininess, that's going to be what your clay films look like. It's just shiny clay. We're not sure if we put those suffixes on here, but it would have it. Yes. And then you don't see. There's not slick insides in Tonka's there, but slick inside would be kind of like this grooved area here, but more extreme and more pronounced, I guess. But yeah, you don't see like table salt. Like the gypsum kind of looks like really coarse salt. Well, it is salt, so it looks kind of like that. And other salts are salty looking. Then the carbonates are those white chalky blobs. Clay is going to be shiny.
Okay.
And you'll feel it if you can touch it. And then the last horizon is a C, where you're losing the organic matter almost entirely, and color changes again. Structural change. Okay, let's try again on barns.
That's hard to see. We should the lights off.
Yeah, we can turn the lights
So
off. for
look
you.
at what different environment is it in.
Well, it looks like it's in.
So
it
is
looks
that
like it's
like
in a wild.
Yeah, it looks like it's just like.
okay?
So how far down do you think the top one is?
Wonder.
I'd say about
It's like that.
right there.
So about 3/4 is what you're thinking?
Yeah.
So 3/4 a foot down is what they're thinking is the top layer. A.
Yep.
And
A, not AP, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. Just A.
What made you not put the P?
Because the wildlife on top. Land.
Right, good.
They say
Yep. Right, yeah, if you saw corn up there, or soybeans, you probably put a P, right? Because that's going to have been disturbed. Okay.
Looks like it's gonna be nice. So, like,
So probably from
what's it like?
probably to right here.
about 1.5.
Yep.
Looks like and that's gonna be like a B.
they're debating on subscript right now.
Right.
Or not subscript, but
Suffix. Yep.
suffix. There you go. Thank you.
W. Good color.
We should say them all.
It's hard.
They're throwing out W.
Yeah, so if you, I mean, that's a good guess. If you don't know, you can't see the play films, you don't know, then VW is a good, safe bet there. I should go back to that. So we'll go with VW. Do you know what Barnes is?
But it's not, I don't think it's B.
Why won't?
This is like this is like salts or something. It looks like because it's got like the white too.
So it has to be like
That's gonna be like a.
BT or like calcium carbonate.
What else would you need to do to know for sure?
Oh, you'd have to test. You'd have to need like something to tell.
Can you hear their conversations, Maddie, or not really?
Yes, I can, and they're thinking great.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you have a bottle of acid in your hand,
Test.
are you gonna ask me if it'll fizz?
So go ahead and ask her.
So, is it gonna fizz?
Yes.
That's gonna be.
So I probably should.
So is it gonna be? Or was it supposed?
Wait, wasn't this one that was the one that fizzes? Because that's the one that doesn't fizz,
Wait, it does. Oh, okay.
right?
I don't.
So what do you think?
Okay,
Okay, so gypsum, calcium carbonate.
So it's BK.
So it's BK.
You might want to
Yep.
note that. So which one
Nice.
is your?
Now, if I told you it also picks up in clay, you can have more than one suffix.
Oh, okay.
So then BKT.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess.
We make the T go before the K, but you don't know that, so yeah, it's a BTK. Yep.
Is there a reason why, like, which one goes first?
No, that one had it. No. Well, not easily explained, I think. That's just,
Go to college,
it's
they'll
just
figure
kind
it
of like
out.
the alphabet. It's kind of more like the alphabet, like you just A, B, it just has an order. I'm not sure
Gotcha.
why the classifiers do that, but
What are you thinking?
The next one.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like
I would-
C because it's not like.
I would say it's a C because like I don't know. This seems a little more appropriate.
and you were right. It's a
Nice.
C. Good
A
job.
little more confidence.
All right, so that's all of Horizons. Do you have any questions about that? So remember the solemn is this. The portion above the C.
Yeah.
Okay. A is your topsoil. B is your
That's what she's talking about.
soil with structure and clay. Right, so
Not a C.
I'm doing color right.
Again, get the notes.
All right. This is Andy now. I'm going to go over soil color with you. I got just a quick PowerPoint, and I'll kind of turn the camera on me and kind of give you a demonstration on how to use the color book. But so, soil color is probably one of the easiest ways to separate horizons, and it's kind of one of the most obvious soil features. We use the Munsell system, like soil color charts, to determine soil color, just a way to standardize the colors, make sure we're all kind of looking at everything the same. Soil color is basically made up of 3 parts. We have the hue, which is kind of dominant spectral color, kind of related to the wavelength of light, the way light hits things, I guess. Value is the degree of lightness or darkness, the amount of the light that's reflected. And then the third part is chroma, which is basically just the kind of the purity or strength of that color. So if they get asked to determine the color of a soil sample, there'll be 3 parts to your answer there. You want the hue, the value, and the chroma. And basically what we're looking for is kind of the dominant color. If it does ask you for a color, you want the color that occupies the greatest volume. That's kind of what we call the matrix color. Because there can be things called like models or redoxamorphic or redox features in there that are maybe little specks, or they can be bigger in specks too, but just little other colors in that matrix. But that's really not the dominant matrix color that we're looking for. They're they're associated with another process, basically. So just some general colors, and if it's dark brown to black, it's probably high in organic matter. It's the organic matter that gives the soil that color. Typically, you see it in your topsoil, your A horizons. We can, as you saw in that last PowerPoint, it can go down into the top of some B horizons as well. So, reds and yellows, that comes from like iron oxide. It's usually what you see in the B horizons or other subsoil horizons. If it's gray, it's probably reduced iron. That means it's probably been saturated with water for quite a while, and that's the water saturation causes the iron to reduce and gives it that gray color. That'd be a good place to use that G suffix too, that glaying suffix. If you see something like that and we're in a position where maybe water accumulates or there's a water table. Whitish or light gray, that's kind of those leached out horizons. That'd be like your E horizons, kind of what we saw before. Basically everything's been leached out of there, so there's nothing left really for color. So you basically just match soil color to a color chip in the Munsell color book to describe our color. So here's an example of a page out of that book. So like I said, it's made up of 3 parts: the hue, the value, and the chroma. The hue is going to be kind of the page you're actually on. So in this case, it's up here in the corner, it's 10YR. That would be your hue. And your value is the number along this side. And your chroma is the number down here. So if you're looking at just using this example on here, if you're looking at a piece of soil and you felt like it matched this chip right here, then your color would be 10YR because you're on that page. Then you're in value of 5 row there, and you're in the chroma of 3, column 3 there. So it'd be 10YR 5.3. That I would recommend starting on that page every time, that 10YR page. Most soils in South Dakota are on the 10YR or 2.5Y page, and then you'll maybe every now and then see a few on the 5Y or the 7.5YR page. But most of the time, you know, I would start on the 10YR or 2.5Y page. So once again, yeah, just dark brown to black colored soils. You know, it's high in organic matter. You know, usually associated with our topsoil and our hay horizon. There's some reds and yellows there. Iron oxide from weathering, usually in our subsoil or our B horizons. Don't see this too often in South Dakota. As you can see, this picture from Alabama, their state soil. But and here's that one you guys looked at earlier. You know, we kind of have some gray colors. Maybe this B horizon, C horizon, you know, could be saturated down there, reduce some iron. And that E horizon, you know, everything's been leached out of there. So it's kind of white or real light gray. Here's some examples of that, like redoxamorphic or features or modeling. See just these little tiny kind of orangish, reddish concentrations there. It's basically accumulation of iron or magnesium. It's a possibility as well. They're usually an indication that the soil has been saturated, at least for a part of the year.
Did you say if it needs to be moist or dry colored?
Typically, we like a lot of times.
Sorry, I can zoom on you.
Most of the time, if you look at some literature and stuff about color, you'll see a dry and moist color. But typically, we're most concerned with the moist color, so that's what we'll be asking you to do. So that means if the soil is dry, you'll want to give it a little bit of, you want to spray it with just a little bit of water. We don't want it super wet, you know, where it's saturated, but just kind of moisten it up just a little bit and then color that. So here's a copy of here's the book that you'll be seeing at the competition. It's a month-sell book. So if we open it up here, you'll kind of see these tabs along the side. Those are your hue pages right here. So like I said, you know, want to start probably on the 10YR page, which is here, or the 2.5Y, which is the next one. Basically what you'll do is, I guess we didn't bring it ahead, did we? That's all right. So got some soil here. It's pretty dry, so I'm just going to spray it up just a little bit. Just kind of moisten it. I don't know. People have different techniques. You know, the ideal technique is you'll want to put it behind the page. It's got holes in the pages, you can see there. Kind of put it behind there. Kind of have the sun over your right or left shoulder, depending on, you know, if you're right or left-handed. And then kind of so that basically the sun's kind of hitting your page at, you know, roughly, you know, 90 degrees or so. Then you just kind of match it up with the, you know, with the color chips there. And then once you find the chip, then you want to read your value on the left-hand side and then your chroma for that chip. So in this case, it looks like it, you know, this one would be a 10YR 3.2, kind of matches that chip right there. So Maybe a 3-1, but
It's not always as straightforward as you'd think. Like you think
Yeah.
it's just going to match a color, well, often it's just in between, and you don't really know. So I think we give credit for when they're close. When we have trouble deciding, we give credit for the 2 options that there are. Whatever, we're try to be reasonable.
yeah.
Questions on color?
Yeah, I think that's all for color. Any questions about that?
Good. Okay.
All right.
Okay, I'll go through texture really quick. It's likely that we will ask you to be able to texture a soil. So you're going to have a sample provided, or you'll have to collect one from a certain horizon. So you're going to have to know potentially if we say get it from the B horizon, you're going to have to know what the B horizon is first to collect that sample and then texture it. So soil texture is the weight proportion of soil separates less than 2 millimeters in size. So those are sand, silt, and clay particles. We'll go through that next. So sand is your larger particles. That's where you're going to feel the grit and texture. So when something is gritty, that's the sand fraction. Silt is feels more like flour as far as feeling goes. And clay is your stickiness. Okay, and you will be provided a textural triangle. So it's gonna really help you if you know how to use this. And this has all textures on it. So here's all of your options. Okay, percent sand is along the bottom going this way. Clay goes up and silt goes down on the right. So if you know 2 percentages, then you know the third and you'll know the texture. So really you only need to know 2 percentages to know, or 2 of the fractions to know what the texture is. For South Dakota soils, for us it's easier to go off of clay to start by figuring out what your clay percentage is. Mainly because we don't have a lot of sand, and at least in our area. So our sand percentages are usually like 10% or less, or under 20. So it helps us to figure out the clay first, and then we go from there. So for the example on the screen, we have 35% sand. So we find the 35% line. And 55% silt. So we find 55, go and match it to the 35% sand line, and boom, there's our texture, silt loam. So we didn't even need to know how much clay there was. But we know by where it's at that we follow this line across, that is 10% clay. Okay, but we really only needed to know the 2.
Trying to figure out silt.
Yes. Yeah, trying to figure out silt percentage is trickier than sand or clay. So usually we know that the sand is pretty low by the grit that we feel, and we know what the percentage of clay is by how sticky it is, and we go off of those 2. We won't go over the rocks. We're not going to give you a rocky soil sample to go off of. You'll also be provided this texture by feel method, which is fairly self-explanatory. It's a flow chart. So you start with your sample, put some soil in your hand, add water, follow the steps, answer yes or no, and it should lead you to your texture. I just recommend practicing that to get. If you have a known, if you guys have any soil samples, do you know? Maybe Wyatt can get you some that he knows what the texture is, and you can practice that way. But I'll show you real quick Mainly what your soil sample should look like when you start texturing it by hand.
So I need to switch to.
Yes. Okay, so put enough soil in your hand to kind of fill up your palm. Some people like large samples, some people like small. It's kind of whatever's comfortable in your hand. And then with the spray bottle, you just spray it enough to get moist, kind of move it around, grip it. The thing is, you don't want it like sopping wet, you know? You don't want to just have like a mess in your hands. But you need it wet enough that dry soil isn't falling off, okay? So it should all stick together. Unless, if you have a really sandy sample, then it won't stick together because you have less clay. The clay is what's sticking. Okay?
Yeah, so I would recommend adding just a little bit of water at a time. And, you know, one clue is that if it doesn't take much water to kind of get it together, then, you know, it's probably on the sandier side. But if it just keeps taking water to try to get it into a nice kind of friable ball that you can actually work with, and it just takes a lot of water, then it's probably heavy on the clay side. So, you know, those are the two extremes, and there's obviously a lot in the middle, but that's a little bit of a hint anyway.
Okay. So if it's too wet, you can always add a little more soil and mix it in. To try to determine clay, I think it's tricky, but it's kind of tricky for us to teach you, I guess, via video. But what you want to do is make a clay ribbon. Okay, so basically you squeeze it in your hand with your thumb up, and you slowly push your thumb forward. So you're moving the soil out through between your pointer finger and your thumb. Okay, so how long that ribbon gets is an indicator of how much clay you have. It's different for everybody. One kind of helpful hint is like maybe an inch should be like 20% clay. If you shouldn't go off of that, but again, that's all. Some people who are really skilled at making ribbons can make really long ribbons out of a lot of things. So
yeah, it really depends on what you feel more comfortable with, whether you're using that soil textural triangle and figuring out the percentages, or if you want to use that texture by feel method. You know, either way, you know, it kind of depends on the length of the ribbon, but you know, it's either trying to figure out the percentages, or you know, kind of ribbon it and feel it, you know, with that other method, that texture by feel method. So
yeah, this sample here is 19% clay. So the ribbons are relatively short. They're like almost an inch long, actually. And it has 46% sand, actually. So there is grit to it. You can feel it. It's not really silky like flour would be. Really, clay, like a BT horizon, is going to have much more clay, usually in the 40s or 50s, even 60s. So those ribbons will be much longer. Any questions about texture? You will have to texture sample for Envirothon. Sample or two.
What's everyone's time like, I guess? We had a couple more things to do, but we can probably skip one of them if you guys needed to get going. Or I'm not sure how long we had to this afternoon, but...
Hey, Andy, this is Kim. I had scheduled it for an hour, so I don't know if we go off at that time or not, but I know we have an hour.
Okay. Well, we might skip to the soil health stuff then. I might just show them just a couple other things, just so that they're aware of maybe things they'll see there. probably we'll be asking you to, you know, determine the pH of the soil. Basically, you'll see this stuff there. We'll just put kind of a little pinch of soil in this tray. Sorry, I don't know. I keep forgetting where to look. Put a little pinch of soil in this tray. We'll kind of saturate it with this reagent here, and then it'll turn color. You know, basically just compare that color to this color chart that you see here, and that'll help. That'll determine your pH. You will also see this kit there. It's a nutrient analysis test, determine nitrate and phosphorus and potassium. You'll be given the instructions and everything you need. You know, the instructions here. So it's really just following directions. I'll actually have the first step done where you have to do the extraction. That'll all be ready for you. So you basically just have to run through the different tests. So that'll be something you see. Finally, we have a website, Web Soil Survey. You can create these custom soil resource reports. You'll see something like this. There'll be several questions about it. The answers are in here. You just gotta basically find them. So, you know, it might not hurt to. I think there's an example or two on the website, Kim, I believe. Otherwise, you can make your own on Web Soil Survey and just kind of get a feel for the information that's in there and where it is. But you'll be given one of these, and like I said, the answers will be in there. You just have to find it. So,
Andy, I'll go through the website tomorrow and make sure that everything linked okay, and if not, I'll try to relink it because I know I did it long ago. So, Wyatt,
Okay.
if you come across something that's not there that you're looking for, let me know, and I'll try to figure out where I went wrong. So, the rookie's still trying to figure this stuff out. So I appreciate it. And Andy has been wonderful. So he's provided so many resources. It's incredible. So thank you, Andy and Maddie.
yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So Maddie's going to do some soil health Jeopardy with you now. So, yeah, have fun.
Yeah, so we've basically covered so far, that was the soils portion, so that'll be like a separate exam. And the next portion we're covering is for the current event or current issue topic. So it's a whole nother exam, is mainly focused on soil health. So, let's see that. Great. Anyone can answer too, since there's only 2 students in winter. It's kind of a lot of pressure on them. So, anybody else? Far from dirt, this natural resource is the foundation of life on Earth. What could it be?
I'm gonna say
This should be an easy.
Soil.
Yeah. Thank you. What is soil? Is the correct answer. Great. Okay, implementing good soil health practices, such as keeping soil covered with crop residue, cover crops, helps significantly reduce this destructive force to soil. So what is a destructive force?
Erosion?
Correct, erosion. 2 for 2. These tunnels, created from living organisms and dead plant roots, help a healthy soil infiltrate water.
Remember those things like, no, that's not.
Can we go back to erosion? I knew that one.
Yeah. Okay. You're saying Burley. Oh, no.
Come on, Winter, you can do it.
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
So the root
3,
size
2, 1. Macropore.
Oh, macro.
A large pore, basically. A wormhole.
I've got that.
Equal macro.
Okay, soils are made up of a combination of physical, chemical, and blank. This property that is associated with living things.
Organic. Isn't it?
Kinda.
No?
Kinda.
Oh, dang it.
What do you? What class do you study living things?
Biology.
Yeah. Biological.
What is biology? Oh, biological.
So physical, chemical, and biological.
Oh.
Tillage causes this valuable soil component that improves water holding capacity, cation exchange capacity, and reduces bulk density to be burnt up and lost. So what is the component that tillage destroys?
What do you think? I don't know if it's like structure.
What is charge?
Well, tillage just caused till.
Yeah. So this has this one. Water holding. Is it? It's,
3, 2, 1. Organic matter. This is really important to soil health. So organic matter is what tillage destroys, basically burns up and loses organic matter. And organic matter is the thing that improves water holding capacity, CEC, reduces density. Really important. Okay. 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered by what?
water.
What is water?
Yeah. Good job. Winner's back at it. There you go. Water blank is decreased when a soil is tilled, disturbed, or left exposed to raindrop impact.
Absorption.
Close.
How rain can compact.
Water blank.
So much more the raindrop. I know.
It's erosion would be my guess.
Water holding?
Water.